Are we live? Are we working? Let's see here. Yes. Carl, what's happening? Yeah, very much. Very much. Um, More than I thought I would, to be honest. It's a chaotic place, you know, very noisy. Let's see here. Wait for a few minutes and see if we get some people in here. Otherwise, no, I haven't rode on a train yet. I did ride on a train, but not on the top of the train. And I did ask, can I ride on the top of the train? They said no. They're trying to stop that, I guess. I don't know. At least they don't want foreigners doing it. I'd do it, but you know. But I have rode in the CNG many times, which is basically a motorized. It's a motorized cage. That's what I call it. It's like a motorized, uh, and you know, you're just oh, you're stuck because like you know the thing is zipping in and out of traffic, and there, I mean, several times we're within an inch of hitting the bus. And then on the other side is another bus, and in front of us there's another bus, and then you're stopping and starting. So the buses go forward, then they come back, and you feel like I'm out in the middle of a river. I don't have any problems with 4G. I sit in my room. Oh, you know what? 1 second. 1 second. I had the Wi-Fi on, so now I turn the Wi-Fi off, just 4G. So hopefully it'll be everything will be cool. I got lots of great photos, um, and I don't know if anybody saw the picture I put up of the baby with the mother on the sidewalk, and the baby's head was like this a big triangle. Um, I think it's called hydrocephalus. It's water. Basically, your head swells up with water or fluid. And so I put something up in the Facebook about it, and then a doctor who has followed my Facebook for quite some time, a doctor contacted me and said, well, she might be too far gone or whatever, but here's the name of a doctor in the hospital there, and maybe they can help her out. And so I figured today I'm going to go back and find her and see if we can do anything and help her out. And you know, we had a long day. I was up at I was outside at what time? 8 o'clock, 8:30. I was outside, but I was up at about 4:30, and I've been out all day. Just took a little break in the middle of the day, and then Chuck and I went out. And so Chuck and I went out. and we went down to the river, got on a riverboat. We went to the Pink Palace, which was an experience, and I'll get into that in a few minutes. Um, but we just to get to this and take care of this, the girl whose head was swollen, the young girl who I took a photo of, the doctor contacted me, so I said, I'm going to go back and see if I can find her. And so, hang on a second here. Got to charge those batteries up, man. Going through them like crazy. So I wanted to go and see if maybe we could take her to the hospital and maybe if the doctor would help. And we got done with our day. We took the CNG, sorry. We took the CNG back, and we stopped off, and it just turned out that we stopped off at the little shawarma shop that I really like. I think it was $5 for 3 shawarmas and some bread, some naan, and some drinks. It was like less than $5, and so really good price, but really good food. So anyway, so we're getting out of there, and I told Chuck, I said, where that girl is just, I mean, it's like a 2-minute walk. We should go over there. I said it inside, and then we got outside. I was like, should we go over there? I'm like, we need to go over there. And he's like, well, yeah, if you want. I said, all right. So we go over there, and as I'm walking up, I see this lady in her Muslim garb, I forget what it's called, but anyway, she's in the whole thing. She's in her whole outfit, and I see somebody walking away, and it was her, and she was carrying a child, so I knew it was her. So I ran up and kind of passed her up, and then I said, "Excuse me, one second." It wasn't just her hijab. I think she was wearing her sari, and But anyway, I said, one second. And so then I looked around and I was like, does anybody speak English? And so one guy came up and he said, yeah, I speak some English. And I said, okay. So I talked to him and said, here's the deal. And I showed him on Facebook and I said, I don't know if she's getting any help, but if she needs help, there's this hospital, a doctor there might be able to help her. And it really was strange, but the lady said, we're already going there. So she's like pretty much on the street begging for money and taking her daughter to the hospital every single day. So my buddy Chuck gave her some money to help her out, and because she looked in bad shape, and so did the baby. And so at least we checked up and found out that she is getting some help. So like the doctor originally said before, her head was so swollen, the child's head was so swollen that there might not be anything that can be done about it. And that's probably where it's at right now. I don't know. I'm not a doctor, but it felt good to at least reach out and try to help her and, to find out that she's already getting help. So that's what happened with the kid in the picture. So that was nice. But anyway, I called this stream, two-step selfie, because I couldn't take 2 steps anywhere once I got to Old Dhaka. Not so much on the streets in Gulshan where we are, but once we got to Old Dhaka, which is an hour away by the auto rickshaw. Once we got there, we couldn't go anywhere. First, it was mainly me, and then it was Chuck and myself. I don't know. And then, but it became more he and I. And what happened was we were looking where to go. We're walking, and then people would walk up to us. Selfie. It's okay, selfie. And we're like, yeah, okay, sure, sure. We take a little selfie with him, you know. And some of them I took photos of, and then we'd keep walking, and then I would be I would be recording, shooting video, have my selfie stick or my gimbal, we'd be recording, and there would be literally 25 people behind us, mostly kids, some of them like teenagers, following us everywhere that we went. So it was like we were surrounded, and anytime we stopped, they would circle us and they would say selfie, 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 or they'd want to see themselves on the video camera. And that was how it was in the market also. You know, I went and had tea this morning, and this guy helped me find a little tea shop, and I know how to say tea in Bengali. And I said milk tea, you know, I'd like some milk tea. And the guy actually took me over to the tea shop. And then I went walking around, and I was away from the same place where I was. And I said, do you know where there's a tea shop? And this old man said to me, come on. He grabbed my hand. He said, come on, you come with me. Let's go. And it was the exact same place. So the guy looks at me, and he's like, oh, you're back. And I was like, yeah, I was back. I'm back. What was really funny was we went inside the Pink Palace, and this kid kind of like, he anointed himself as our guide. He was like I'd say he was like a 12-year-old, 14-year-old kid maybe. He just kind of was tagging along, and then he took some selfies, and then I took some photos of him. And he was like, okay. And we got to the Pink Palace, and there's not like a polite queue. It's not like one line, everybody's standing there. No, people are literally fighting. It's like there's 50 queues, and people are fighting to get their way into the ticket window so that they could go in. And so, you know, me not wanting to like fight my way in, I kind of just inched in. And then what happened was a couple people were like, oh, let the foreigner in, let the foreigner in. So they all let me in. And so the kid paid for his own ticket. Yeah, it is nice. The kid paid for his own ticket, which was 20 taka, which is like 20 cents, 25 cents. I think it's 20 cents, 22 cents or something like that. 21 point something. But anyway, the kid pays his own way, and then next thing you know, we're going in. We get our tickets, we go in, and the kid's tagging along with us, and he knows a little bit of English. So he's like, rest. Water? You water? Like, you want water? And I had water. And we go walking around, and I mean, as soon as we got inside the grounds, it was selfie, 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 selfie. You got to be patient. And that's the only thing I can say. Here, you have to have patience. The people are so nice, and they're so friendly, and they really want to know about you. And if you're not friendly to them, I think one of two things would happen. You set an extremely poor example. You know, as an American, I try not to be the loud, ugly American where I go places. Well, I can be ugly, but, you know, you are a representative for your country. You don't want to be the guy who makes them hate all British or all Americans. So I try to be very patient, you know, about the selfie thing. And I mean, it was kids, families with their little babies. It was girls, you know, Muslim girls coming up to a selfie. And I'm just like freaking out, you know. And Chuck is saying, he's a YouTube star. He's a big YouTube star. I'm like going, Chuck, shut up, man. You got to shut up. Don't say that. And because they know YouTube. And some of them were asking me, give me your YouTube channel. Let me have name channel, you know. And then we went inside, and you're not allowed to take photos. You're not allowed to take photos inside the Pink Palace because they have, you know, older stuff. And I guess they just don't want people taking photos of the stuff and replicating it or whatever. I don't know. Hang on a second. I'm gonna sneeze. And so we go inside, and people are taking photos. I'm going, wait a minute. There's no photos allowed. There's printouts on the wall asking people or telling people no photos allowed, illegal. And they got, a big sign with a camera and a cross through it. And all these people are taking selfies, and they're asking to take selfies of me and Chuck. And they're shooting video inside of the place. And, every once in a while, some guy would come in like a brown shirt or whatever, green shirt, and he would yell at somebody and say, no, you put the camera down. You can't take photos. But it didn't matter. And this place is like three stories high. And you have to walk up the stairs. There's no going backwards and getting out of it. And there are literally hundreds and hundreds of people in the place. So you have to go up. So, it's like you start walking up, and then if you stop, somebody comes up to you. Selfie, selfie, selfie. You take 2 steps, selfie, selfie, selfie. Everywhere you go, selfie, selfie, selfie. And me and Chuck were just looking at each other going, what is the deal? We figured it out. We took somewhere in the neighborhood of about 800 to 1,000 selfies between us both. There were about 800 to 1,000 selfies taken of us while we were there in Old Dhaka, near the Pink Palace and in the Pink Palace. So if you think about that, it can be a bit unnerving. And then, you're in an area where there are a lot of people. There are motorbikes, there are motorized trikes, there are bicycle trikes, there are cars, there are little bicycles with platforms on the back because there's flooding, and so people don't want to get their feet wet. They don't want to walk in it, so they throw them up on the back like cattle, and they all sit there, and then they drive them over the water. Or they have motorcycles that are like that. And so Chuck and I were just like surrounded with people the whole time. We're like, going, what the fuck's going on, man? This place is crazy. And but then we went down to the river. We went down to the river again, and I streamed from the river. And it was so nice. We were both like, we got to get out of this place, because between sitting in the CNG and feeling confined, because you're trapped in the thing. It's not like you can just like hang out of it, because people would die. So you're sitting in the CNG, and there's pollution, and there's trucks everywhere, and there's noise, and people are beeping the horn. It's just madness. And then when we go onto the street, and I wanted to go sit in the tea shop and have some tea, and the guy's like, no tea today, only food. I was like, oh, okay. So we walked down the street a little bit, and there's this like tiny, like it was enough for one person to stand in. And there was a little chair, and I sit down, and I have a tea, and I tell Chuck, I got you a tea. He goes, oh, no, I don't want a tea. He doesn't want tea because he's worried he's going to get sick. And I'm like, well, you might, but you might not. Oh, it's complete madness riding in the thing. And, yeah, madness. Well, this is the thing. He's like, oh, but they put in milk. They put in condensed milk, and it's not good. And I'm like, yeah, but you'll drink a soda, which has sugar in it, and you got condensed milk. Okay, yeah, it's fattening. Okay, it's got sugar in it. But the tea will be fine. And I was like, this tea shop, look at it. It's a tiny little place, but it's extremely busy. There's all kinds of people. If these people were getting sick, if even a couple of them were getting sick on a regular basis, there wouldn't be the volume of people. You can. There wouldn't be the volume of people going in and out of there. So I was like, no, you're going to offend them. You're going to offend them if you don't drink their tea. So he drank a little bit, and then he gave me the rest of it. I was like, oh, thanks. But, that was, and then when we get up, as soon as we get up, oh, photo, oh, selfie, oh, you photo me, like that kind of thing. They wanted me to take them a photo, so I got a lot of photos of people. And what I tried to do was I tried to say, okay, well, if you're going to take a photo, I'm going to have to set you up. So I put them up against a wall or what do you call it? One of those metal slide down doors that are painted, and I would do that. And then sometimes I would say to somebody, I noticed that they do this a lot. They go, they won't do it with their lips, but they go, and I'll say, do you want your photo? Which is like, okay, you know. And so sometimes I would say, oh, you want your, like there would be a girl and she'd just be standing there staring at me, just staring. And you're like sitting there going, hello. And she go, hello. You want a photo? And you take her photo, like take 2 or 3 photos of her, and she's like laughing. You know, that's kind of how it is. So it does take some patience, and it does take a little bit of getting used to. But Chuck is pretty mellow, aside from not wanting to drink, tea and eat in hole in the wall restaurants. Which, like for me, I'm like those are the best places. I mean, I don't, it's not a big deal. I mean, it's like, what are you gonna do? I mean, really, what are you gonna do? You're in their country. I've only seen about 2 or 3 foreigners walking around in the town in 3 days now. And they might be expats. Well, what I was told, we met this, okay, this is the thing, we met a lot of people here. If you saw the stream, Billy, did you see the stream this morning, the whole stream? I don't know if anybody, there's not that many people here because of the time, I guess, but most people are working in the U.S. right now, but you saw half. Well, you missed the best half. Seriously. Because what happened was, I gotta put my glasses back on. What happened was, I heard this chanting, and I was like, what's going on? I start walking towards the noise, and these people are like, I mean, just like vehemently chanting. They're as loud as they can go. They're screaming. They've got these banners and they've got these words, written in Bengali, and they're just going crazy. And they're marching, and there's people standing there on the side. I mean, there were hundreds of people. And I got it on in the stream, but I also got video of it. And so I was like, whoa, what's going on here? So finally I found out that the reason that they were marching and there was a rally was because this very famous retired actor who is now a member of parliament has proposed some kind of a program to eradicate mosquitoes, because there are something like it was great, man. But that's the kind of stuff that I used to do in boxing. And, when I was traveling, I would just find places. That's exactly what I used to do. So I loved it. It was fantastic. But what happened was I finally got into a place where, okay, I can get some shots. And, I started taking some shots. And this guy said to me, hey, where are you from, BBC? And I said, no, I'm freelance, man. And so he said, well, you come with me, you come with me. So I went with him, and he's telling me, this guy, his name is Farouk, and he's very famous. He's a member of parliament, and he's one of the most famous actors in Bangladesh from the golden age of movies in Bangladesh. So I was like, oh, wow, great. So he sees me, the guy's marching, and he sees me, and he says, you come with me. You follow me. Come over here. He goes, and then he comes over and he talks to me, and he says, we're going to be going over to the circle, and you can take some photos of me over there. Just come in. You'll be able to take photos. And I said, okay, great. Thank you very much. So I was taking photos of him. I was shooting video of the people. There were women in their saris, screaming, and oh, man, it was crazy. And so then, like, I was in the midst of it. He turned out down this little street, and I was in the midst of a pack of people. And I get done, like he's done. He speaks on a loudspeaker. He gets done, and the same guy who got me before and said, "Hey, where are you from?" With BBC or whatever, says to me, "Hey, come with me." And I said, he goes, he's in his office. He wants to see you. I said, all right, cool, man. So I go in with him to the office, and members of parliament are sitting in this little office with him. And he starts talking to me. And I start asking him questions about the mosquitoes. And I don't know anything about this. I have no idea what the mosquito problem is here. I didn't know. Uh, I know in Thailand there's a big dengue fever problem. And I've had dengue fever. Um, But I just asked him a few questions, and then I said, "Listen, my battery's going dead. I got to sit down over here and change the battery." So I changed the batteries and everything. Take a few more pictures, and they said, "Oh, you know what? You can come over to this other room if you want. You can sit down. It's quiet in there." It's up. It's up right now, Zach. So no problem. I'm not gonna take it down. Um, So I go into this other room, and there's like one of the guys who had said something to me. He was like, "Hey, man, what's up?" And I was like, and sometimes that's all they can say. But this guy knew how to speak English. He spoke English quite well. He had another guy with him who's his assistant who didn't speak English very well. And so they start talking to me about all kinds of things. And then this other guy's in there, and he's like, "Oh, I'm the head of the TV station or whatever." So there's this guy in there who's like a journalist and the head of one of the TV stations. There's another guy who's part of. Let me think where he's from. Do I still have his card? Uh, well, I don't know what Awam Like. I don't know what that is, but I believe it's part of the political party. And then there was another guy in there that was part of the TV station. So I was sitting with like three guys, and we were talking, and then they're like, "Oh, would you like some tea?" Yeah. And so then they come back. One guy comes back and he goes, "It's going to be a while for your tea." I go, "That's all right." And then the battery was going dead, and I said, "Okay, well, time to go." And Chuck, the whole time he's asleep. He's asleep. He doesn't want to wake up because he's working until late in the morning, and he didn't want to. He doesn't want to get up at 6 o'clock when he's going to sleep at 3 in the morning, which I'm like, why not? And so then after that, we went and did everything, went down to the Pink Palace and, did all the selfies. But I had the same thing. Inside of the office of the MP, people are asking me for selfies. I mean, in the office when I went in with the guy who ran the TV station, they're asking me for selfies. They're just nuts about selfies. And so tonight, after we saw the woman with the little girl who has the hydrocephalus, I think it's called, we were walking back and we're looking, okay, which direction do we go? And we saw this guy. He's kneeling on the sidewalk with his camera on the street. I mean, he's like a foot away from where the cars are going to be, but he's like kneeling down really, really low, and he's pointing the camera up. And I'm like, is he trying to capture traffic or what's he doing? So there's another guy standing with him, and I said, "Hey," and he had a camera. You go, "Hey, what's going on?" And he goes, "Oh, you a photographer?" I said, "Well, yeah." He said, "Yeah, we are too." And we start talking. Chuck and I are talking to them. Turns out they were architects and architectural photographers. And so the guy goes, "Oh, what do you got? Any plans for tomorrow?" We go, "Not really." And they're like, "Okay, well, if you want to go, there's a few places." And I told them a few places I want to go that I was thinking of going, but I wasn't really sure and everything. And he goes, "Listen, if you want, we'll come with you. Can we meet up with you and we'll all hang out?" And I said, "Yeah, fine. We'll go out and we'll go shoot and have a good time." And so we're meeting these guys tomorrow, probably around 1 o'clock, and we'll head down to I don't know where, maybe to the slums, maybe to some other places that we don't know about. that Chuck and I don't know about. Well, Chuck doesn't really know about any of the places because I'm the one who set all the places up that we went to. Um, but yeah, so that's what's going on. Both Chuck and I agree that Bangladesh is officially the friendliest country that either of us have ever been to. Absolutely, without a doubt, uh, multiple levels above and beyond. Like Thailand is a friendly place. Can be a very friendly place. There are a lot of places that Indonesia's friendly. Um, Outwardly friendly. They'll say hello and everything like that. But this place is really, it's the friendliest place I've ever been in my life. And Chuck's been to, this is his 101st country. And he's like, I've never experienced the hospitality that I've experienced here. And so when we met these photographers, the photographer um, made it a point to say the reason they want to take selfies with you is they admire foreigners. And I said, well, that might be a little bit of a mistake, to admire all foreigners. But I think it's just that uh, not many foreigners come here, and most of the ones that do, I think they know um, there's a certain protocol, and you just don't. Yeah, exactly, and you just don't act badly here. Um, you don't get the dumb tourists who are like, I'm gonna pee all over I don't know, I'm gonna pee all over this temple or something. I mean, you don't get these idiots like that. At least I haven't heard of any or seen of any. And Chuck and I went into Burger King yesterday, and this kid walked up to us. I was talking about it, I think, yesterday. Um, where this kid is like looking at me, and I got my phone on my little selfie stick, and I got my camera, and this kid's looking at me. He walks over and he's like, hey man, are you doing a documentary? And then we start talking to him, and then his mother's here, and we start talking to her. And I don't know if they were, Bangladesh Americans or whatever, but he said, I'm American and I live in Texas. And I was like, holy shit, man. So you do run into some foreigners here, and then actually, I don't know if you remember on the stream today. No, there's not, and that's what we were looking for. I was looking to see, just what kind of alterations they've made to the menu. They didn't have any shakes, but they did have sundaes and ice cream cones. They did have that. But I haven't seen a McDonald's here. And although there supposedly is a Starbucks here, I haven't seen it. I think tomorrow we're going to go into, I think we'll probably, I mean, I'd really like to go there for lunch. But Chuck is he for me, I've already got a meal for breakfast, and that'll be enough. But Chuck, he probably is going to eat, and he's going to eat breakfast in the hotel because he just wants to be safe. But I wanted to go to the Thai restaurant because, like I was saying the other day, we went into this Thai restaurant just to check it out and see, are there any Thais here? What kind of meals are there? Is it a traditional Thai place, or is it, Thai and Bangladesh and American and this and that? No, it was strictly Thai, and there was a Thai chef, and I promised them that we'd be back. So I feel like I've got to go back, and even if I have just some pad Thai or something. So maybe I'll recommend to the guys that are going to come, I'll say, hey, why don't we go to the Thai restaurant? Why don't we meet at the Thai restaurant and we'll all eat there? And then we'll talk about where we're going. I don't know. I don't really know. If it was just me, I'd probably be out really early in the morning. But I've been out every morning really early. And I have a lot of editing to do, and I really want to. I want to get it done. So, I don't know, I'll see. But who knows where we're going tomorrow. But, man, I mean, this place is an adventure. And let me tell you something. The the guy who was running this TV station says to me, he said, "So it's your first time here?" Yeah, yeah. I said, "Yes. I'd like to go to a lot of places. I want to go to Cox's Bazar. I want to go to Chittagong. I want to go to Sundarbans." He said, "Oh, Chittagong. If you ever want to go to Chittagong," he says, "I am from there." He said, "You let me know. I'll make sure you're taken care of." I was like, "Thanks, man. That's very nice of you." So they're very hospitable here. I mean, more than anywhere I've ever been. And while I knew that they wanted to take photos and it could get a little bit hectic, and I knew the roads were hectic and there's a lot of people, I just didn't expect um, them to be so polite and so nice. I mean, like, really nice. Now the uh, the rickshaw guy this morning, I don't know how many people saw it, but the rickshaw guy, I already asked how much is the price. I asked the guys in the hotel here because I've talked to a couple of them that work here, and I asked how much is it to go from here to here, and they said it's 30 to car. I said okay, which is like it's like 33 cents or something. So then the rickshaw driver told me 1,000, and I was like, no, it's not gonna happen. So I gave him 50, but you know. Anyway, so I really wish that more people would watch the streams, um, especially streams like today. And I know they're long, but when you got people who, people are working, people are doing things, and they maybe they can't come in at 9 o'clock or whatever and just start watching your stream. That's not the highest priority. Maybe they can come in at 10:30 when they get home and they've decompressed or whatever. But I do wish that more people would watch the streams. I'll say that right now, because like now we got 18. I understand that um, it's not the usual time for me to stream and all this other kind of stuff. But like today's stream, um, well, I mean, they have multiple price. They have dual pricing. At least in some areas, they have dual pricing. Getting into the Pink Palace, dual pricing. I don't want to tell you the difference in prices, but um, on the whole, though, like I mean, we had this meal tonight. Well, I had this meal. Chuck only had something to drink, and then he had some of the naan. Um, he had two servings of naan and a 7 Up. I had a 7 Up, and I ate two chicken. Yeah, roti, exactly. I forgot what they call it. It's not just roti. There's another word. Um, but I had three shawarmas, chicken shawarmas. One of them I got to take away, and the other two I ate there, and it was $4.50, something like that. So I don't think they were ripping me off at the place, because I saw some of what the other people were paying, and it was similar. So I don't think it's everywhere, but I think in some of the public places, the government places, the tourist places, I think, yeah, okay. And like I saw already how much it cost to take the auto rickshaw from our hotel or near our hotel to the Pink Palace. I already knew because I'd already went before, and so we got into the thing, and I told the guy how much, and he was like, "Okay, no problem." So I knew, hey, we're right on. We're getting we're getting a decent deal, and so I haven't really felt like I've gotten. If they've charged me a little bit more, okay, I can deal with that. But it's not like everywhere I go, it's endemic and they're just ripping me off. I mean, there are people that have taken my hand and taken me somewhere. And then, like with the tea, twice I tried to buy them tea because it was very cheap. It's only like 10 takar for the tea, which is like what, like 12 cents. And I was like, oh, let me pay, and they're like, no, 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 no. And I was like, oh man, okay. The first time I was like, all right, but then the second time, I was like, man, I can't even buy a tea. I was like, I can't even buy the guy a tea. But that's the way they are. So maybe tomorrow night we'll go to, or tomorrow, the next day, we'll go to Starbucks and check out the one Starbucks in Dhaka. We may do that. Well, you watched. I know you watched a lot of it, Mitch. You know, stream. Oh, Jesus Christ. These trips are getting a little bit harder. Not to mention, they're harder on my body. Oh, I threw money in here. Oh, I got more money than I thought. I love it. Well, not much more. I thought I had a lot more. That kind of sucks. Yeah, I mean, but there's like I've said, there's a circle of people that watch all the time and that comment all the time. And then there's generally a lot of lurkers who they never comment, they never, they're probably not regulars, I don't know. And so I'd like to get to where more people watch. What was that? More people watch the channel. Oh. Look, what does this look like? They don't use coins very much. So anyway, that's what's going on. Kind of looks like a marijuana leaf, but it's not. So Chuck believes this is one of the best places, if not the best place he's ever been. He's very surprised by it. And I said, well, I'd like to go to Sri Lanka too. And he said, well, I've been to Sri Lanka, and Sri Lanka is wealthier than Bangladesh, but he likes here, he prefers here, Well, North Korea, Everything in North Korea is a tour, Now, Venezuela, that's a different story. It's a place to go. Let me see here. I'm trying to find. Anyway, if you want to know what's going on, whether I broadcast the stream or not, go to my Instagram or go to my Facebook or my Twitter. They're all the same name. It's my name. So, because it is really difficult for me to stream and take photos at the same time and shoot video also. And if anything's gonna go, it's gonna be the streaming, because it just seems like it's almost too much work. Too much work for for very little in return to me. I like doing it, but I like doing it when there's more people and there's interaction and all that kind of stuff. And I'm carrying around, like today. It was like, I got my camera, I got my bag, I got my gimbal, I got my freaking selfie stick, I got my GoPro. I'm using all these things to try to get as much information and content as possible. And you're doing it in the midst of a crowded place with 19 million people. Well, I would put Chuck to work um, if he's awake. And I did put him to work on the first day we came, and I had him do something. He's like, "Oh, I don't know how to use this." I'm like, "It's a phone," you know. So there are a few things that I need to show him that how I like it done, or what I'm thinking of, to get him to think the same way as I am. But he also doesn't have all that much time, at least not yet. And what I've said is that what I think he likes to do is jet on into a place. Um, he eats in the hotel. Maybe he goes on a little tour, a little trip somewhere. Um, he does that like for 1 or 2 days. He's eating in mostly hotels or restaurants that are nicer in the city that he knows he's not going to get sick from, or he can't just stop on the side of the road and go, yeah, let's eat some of this. Um, and it's a different kind of traveling. And then he jets on out so that he goes, oh, I've been to that country, and all right, he's been there. But like I was giving him a hard time because he didn't want to eat some of the food that I was eating. I was like, "Are you kidding me? You don't want to drink the tea. You don't want to eat this food. Come on, you got to eat some of it. Live dangerously, But he doesn't want to get sick, which I don't really worry about it all that much. Now, if I was in somewhere in Africa or somewhere to me this place is not all that dirty. It's not as dirty as I thought. There are places that are just completely filthy, but for the most part, the area where we're in and the area where we've been through, the areas we've been through have been fairly clean, but just dusty, which apparently is a big problem here, the dust. Not only the pollution, but the dust. So, shit. So anyway, any questions, comments? We're rolling around. Here. He is. He's telling people I'm a big YouTube star, and I'm like saying, don't say that, because I got a whopping 16 people watching right now. I'm not Casey Neistat. Oh, I know that. But now he's saying he'd like to go to the Congo. He's saying he'd go, but I know him. He'll go if he can stay in a really nice hotel. I don't know. Depends. Depends on if my channel starts making any money. If it doesn't make any money, I don't know. You know. It has to be profitable, or at least break even. And I'm not. And I rarely do. And that's not good enough. You know? Mm. It's good. Maybe if I hung out in 7-Eleven, there are no 7-Elevens here, but maybe if I have to hang out in 7-Eleven in Bangkok, maybe, I'll have a profitable channel. I don't know. I mean, listen, I haven't been putting up as many videos, but there will be videos coming up because I made it a point to tell myself on this trip, I'm going to make sure that I put up at least a half a dozen videos from here, and I'll make them, at least fairly good. Plus the streams. And if that's not enough, then, I don't know what is, and I'm just not going to worry about it. I'll go where and when I can and, do what I want to do on those trips, and, it's just the way it is. What else can you do? This place has been fun. It's also a hell of a lot of work, you know. When you see some of the video inside of the CNG, getting around traffic in the city, and how many people there are, and how many people are coming up to you, you know, it's like, yeah, it's fun, but it's friggin' work, man. It's hard work, which is fine with me. I don't care it's hard work, but yeah, well, you know, I understand that. I mean, like, I bust my ass, and I don't have any problem saying that. And but you know, the bottom line is I'm busting my ass, and for what? You know. That's so good. I mean, I did this stuff before I was ever on YouTube. I used to travel a lot, but I didn't do it on video. You know. And Lori should know her wet wipes, or the wet wipes that she told me to get, have come in very, very handy. I've used almost a whole pack. Because you eat with your hands here quite often. Your right hand, not your left hand. And they do have a powerful bum gun in this hotel. It's quite powerful. That thing's like a jet engine. So you don't have to worry about that. The thing works good. Anyway. Mm. Tomorrow's another big day. I wish we had a lot more time here, but, you know. Unfortunately, we don't. Um, if you're eating traditional Bangla food, you're probably using your hand and, you know, the bread. Um, but, I mean, you're eating Burger King, you want a knife and a fork, you can get one. They'll give you one. But most people are not using utensils if they're eating, you know, Bangla food. That was tasty. So, you know. Anyway, I wish a lot more people would have watched the stream this afternoon because it was crazy. I really thought it was something about the government, like they were pissed off at the government, they were rioting, they were angry. And then I saw the mosquito and I was like, oh, you're actually in support of the guy because the guy is so loved and revered that they come out to support him. And what was funny was watching him. Um, oh, that's really nice, Billy. Watching him when he had to leave or move and get somewhere. Like me, I'm like, excuse me, excuse me. He just went, he just goes, like, move, please, get out of the way. And he had a couple of guys who were his bodyguards around. They looked like bodyguards. And they were the ones who were like, get out of the way. And it was funny because I was in front of him at one point, and they were telling me, come on, let's go, let's go. And I've been taking this photo, and I turned around, and this big dude was standing there, and he just went like this, get out of the way. And all of a sudden, all the people, there was just hundreds of people. They just went whoosh, and opened up. And I'm like, man, this is too good. It's like he just told everybody to move. And I just walked right down in between them. And then the guy followed and, with his group of people. It was pretty good. So I could get used to it. But I remember some of the stuff that, now I miss it again. Doing stuff like that. Well, that would be cool. I mean, if he's a good politician, I would take it. He probably is if they love him so much, but you never know. He was a freedom fighter. Actually, I read about him. He was a freedom fighter in 1970, 1974, something like that. 1971. There was a war here, I guess, and he was in it. He was a freedom fighter. So, interesting guy. Interesting place here, and it's very off the beaten track, which, it's a good reason to come here. For me, it's a good reason, instead of just doing the usual loop. All right, man. Doing the usual thing. Maybe you go to Thailand or Cambodia or Vietnam or something. Those are pretty standard places, Yeah, but in the hotel, Chuck and I have been after our day. We've gone down and sat there and had a coffee, just talked about things. And every time we go down there, there's always some guy. Today there was a Chinese guy. Yesterday there was I think he was Spanish, like from Spain or something, down there. And then there was another guy from like Italy or Switzerland. I don't know. But he spoke Italian, so I'm going to assume it's Italy. Selling fabric. And, textiles are big here. Textiles and leather are big here. So he had this big case, and he was showing these people some of the samples and asking for their orders and stuff like that. So there are people that come here. There are foreigners who come here, but a lot of them are doing business. They got a reason other than I want to take photos and shoot video for YouTube. Oh, shit. There we go. So, interesting place. Interesting and very friendly. I can't think of a friendlier place that I've ever been to, or heard about, for that matter. I heard Turkey used to be a very friendly place. I don't know how friendly it is now, but I heard that it was a very friendly place. But I don't know if it's as friendly as this. Yeah. Some people have told us that most Pakistanis are extremely friendly to foreigners. Now, I don't know if it's true. I don't have any reason to doubt them. But, who'd have thunk it? I didn't think there would be any problems here, in Bangladesh at all. I wasn't expecting there to be any problems. I did know that there's 19 million people in it's a densely populated city. Um, I did know that going in. But yeah, I wasn't, you're never ready for it 100%. I was pretty much ready for the chaos, but just the mass of humanity. I mean, we're on the river, and I got people bugging me for selfies. I mean, they are literally running up to me from across the street, running between little trikes and this and that to run up to me and or to run up to Chuck and take selfies. And then the whole sidewalk is packed because they're circling around, and there's not enough room anyway. And so here it is, there's not enough room anyway, and they're circling around. And I'm talking about it's like 10, 20, 50 people all circled around. And then if you take somebody's picture, everybody wants to see the photo. You show the person that you take the photo of, and then their friends, oh, let me see. And so on that river, it was really, really congested. And, then we had to go negotiate with the boat guy, and we didn't speak Bengali, but I knew how much to pay because I had been on the boat before when I streamed from there. And then the kid wanted to come with us. And the kid, he was a very nice kid, but he got a little bit irritating at the end because it was constantly, go here, go there. Why don't you go there? Why don't you do this? He was like, no, you here. Oh, eat. And it was just like, oh, geez. So, and Chuck was like, listen, I'm just going to, I'm going to make sure that he doesn't come with us. I said, what do you mean? He goes, I'm going to pay him. And I was like, all right, you want to pay him off? Okay, pay him off now. We'll work it out. And so, the kid was happy. Everything was good. But we wanted peace and quiet from all the selfies and all the stuff because it was so crazy. So once we got out once we got out in the middle of the river, it was more quiet. But everywhere you go, there's other boats like coming close to you, and everybody's waving and saying hello and shouting things at you. So it's not the most quiet place. If you want to get away from noise, this is not the place to come. Although inside my room, I forget who it was. Hellfire Missile was asking how have the call to prayer, have they bothered me? I haven't even heard him. I haven't heard him when I was in the hotel. Today I heard it out in the market, and that's it. So it hasn't bothered me one bit. Anyway. Oh. Well, thank you, Mr. Mitch. I'd like to show a lot of places and do a lot of things, and I'm more than willing to do them. But I need help. I can't do it on my own. That's just a simple way. And this trip is a perfect example of it. I can't do it on my own. And I'm grateful for the people that I have, but you know what? It's really not enough to do anything in depth like the way that I like to do things, where I don't have to rush and where I can go to places and I have somebody who, you know, to help me that is not like, you know, a local street kid, but somebody who really is really educated and knows the place, knows exactly, and can communicate with me, you know, those kind of things. But, you know, hopefully all in good time. I'm still looking forward to the Congo. We'll see. Yeah, I've heard good things about Ghana. I wouldn't mind going to Ghana. I mean, you know, I'd go there. I think I'd be fine. The only issue in a lot of the countries in Africa is, for me, besides, you know, there are safety issues and everything, but the real issue is photography and video. There are some places that really, really are against taking photos and shooting video. And if you're caught, you get thrown in jail, you get your stuff taken away. Uh, you may need permits, and one permit is good in the city, but if it's in another village or something like that, then they need another permit. So it's a bit of a headache, and all that. Unfortunately, all that takes money. You know, and if you don't have it, then you're at risk for, you know, I mean, you're basically at their mercy. And you don't want that. Nobody wants to go to a country and go, well, if there's one little mix up, I'm screwed. Nobody wants to do that. Certainly not me. So, all right there, Mitch. You take it easy. I'll talk to you later. Yeah. Thanks for watching again. So I got about 6 minutes left here. 6 minutes? 6 minutes and 25 seconds. So if there's anything else anybody wants to say or ask, let me know. Um, you know, like I said, I'm not sure where I'm going tomorrow, but if I had it my way, I'd go into the Coryell slum. But I'm not really sure, you know, exactly what it's like. Um, so we'll see tomorrow. You know, tomorrow's another day. If anybody would like to become a Patreon patron, please visit my Patreon site. It's just like patreon.com/Scott Mallon. Uh, or visit my website, the merchandising side of things. Well, you know, I mean, I probably sell a shirt a month. You know, I don't sell that much, and there's a couple of shirts that I think are pretty good. But you know, yeah, maybe I could make some more money from that somehow. But I know from experience that the amount that is made is not really all that much, but it all adds up. Which is why I no longer use a website and Shopify. I just let Teespring handle everything. But there's some stuff I could put up on Teespring that I don't have up there right now that I used to sell. Um, you know, I mean, the thing too is that I sell prints. I sell my prints for my photos, and you know, the guy came back. The guy that's got the gallery came back from Italy. Well, before I left for Bangladesh, a day or so before. He was in Italy. He's back now, so hopefully things. Oh, the bed is the bomb. I have to say that. Let me show you the bed. Look at that bed. It's very, very comfortable. It's firm, but you know, it's the kind of bed where you sink into it a little bit, but it just holds you there, but you sink a little bit, just enough to where you just go, oh man, this thing is so plush. It's the bomb. I mean, I slept last night. What time did I go to sleep? I went to sleep around 11:30. I woke up about 4:30. Um, but I slept really well. Oh yeah, yeah. Yeah, I mean, it's much nicer. The bed is a lot nicer. So, the hotel's fine. Everything's good. We're in a good area. Um, there's plenty to eat around here. Like I said, there's a Burger King down the street if you really want something like that. We just went into the Burger King because I wanted to see what's going on in the Burger King. What's it like? And the other thing is that I have not seen, nor do I know if there is any McDonald's here. But considering I haven't seen any, not one, um, I don't think there is. And I didn't know there was a Starbucks, but somebody said that there is one Starbucks here. And at the end of my street, there is a Thai restaurant. Did the locals like? Oh, yeah, there was a lot of locals in there. The only person that wasn't a local was the kid and his mother, the kid from Texas and his mother. And they looked like they were either Indian American or, Bangla American. Um, I don't know. Maybe they were, maybe they weren't. I don't know. But they were very nice, and they were the only ones um, in the place that were foreigners. So the whole time I've been here, I've probably seen no more than, even in immigration, I've probably seen, and out on the street, I've probably seen 10 foreigners. Um, Really? Well, apparently, what they do now is they buy gas stations and 7-Elevens. The Bangladesh people that migrate to the U.S. So, very interesting. But, like I said, tomorrow we're going out with this guy and his buddy who are architectural photographers and actual architects. And at least the one guy is very well spoken. His English is very, very good. And so I'm looking forward to going out with them. It's always nice to be able to go with a local. Well, maybe they're smarter than we are. you know, we all got to sleep. You got to have a place to sleep. We all got to eat. You know, we don't all need suits, but, you know, like my buddy used to say, he was a plumber. He'd say, everybody's got a shit. Your shit is my bread and butter. That's what he used to say. Doesn't surprise me. And actually, what's funny? Somebody told me that photographers in Bangladesh make their income is quite good. And so we were talking to these guys about it, and they go, yeah, it's an emerging market here. There's not all that many photographers, but like wedding photographers and guys like them, architectural photographers and certain niches of photography, they do very, very well, which, maybe that's another reason why there's such an interest in selfies and photography here is because it's starting to come out that, hey, you can do a lot with this stuff. Companies can do a lot with it, and they're starting to use photographers more and more. I don't know. It seems that way, though. So, anyway, please click thumbs up if you like this stream or you like the other streams. Watch the other streams. I'll have some videos coming out. I've got one really good one. It's an interview with Chuck, um, and I have an interview with the guy who was my guide yesterday um, on arranged marriages. And then, of course, I've got footage you know, from around the city and everything. And I've got my haircut where I had this kid cut my hair and shave my beard, which was great. I really want to go back there too, but you know, I only got so much time, so I don't know. They give foot massages there, and I could use a foot massage, but anyway, I guess that's all I got to say for now. Don't forget about the Patreon. Don't forget about the PayPal. Don't forget about the website. My website at americaninbangkok.com. And if I didn't feel the need to say anything about all these things, to feel like I'm pimping myself out, I wouldn't say anything. But I do feel the need. There's a reason why. Um, you know. So anyway, I guess that's all I got. And what they say here is a sheet, a sheet, which means later. See you later. Jerk and my. Arrivederci. Choke D. Well, not choke D, but arrivederci. Adios. So many ways to say goodbye. But yeah, I guess that's it. So until next time, I'm Scott. I'm an American in Dhaka. A she. A she. Goodbye, goodbye. All right. Yeah. See you later there, Billy. See you there, Mr. Billy.